Welcome back to Cruder.com. In this first video on date and time formulas, we're going to go over the basics of date and time serials. So let's quickly jump in and get started. Now I've set up this spreadsheet where I have dates on my left and then time on my right. So let's start over here on the date side, and you can see the first thing is a number, and like I normally do, I highlight the cells that I manually input with yellow. So this is my only input, and all of these cells down here are actually referencing this single cell. So if I open it up F2, you can see all the way down C6 is locked up on that value here. And what I first want to point out is how this is a number, and then all of these other values down here and to the right, they're all formatted as dates. So again, this is referencing this number, so therefore when I'm referencing this, it's pulling back as a date, and it's shown as the month and then the day. And so it's 1-1, so January 1st. Then if I put in the years, January 1st of 00. Then if I put in a 4-digit year, you get 1-1 of 1900, and then January 1st of 1900. So what I'm trying to show you here is that Excel starts with these serial numbers at number 1. And if I change this to 2, it's going to give it the second date. So the 2nd of January, and the 3rd of January, and the 4th of January, and the 5th, and so forth. Now, when you start thinking about, well, what is today? What's today's serial number? And today's serial number, let's go ahead and just kind of calculate that. So I did that over here in this date fun. So if Excel starts at year 1900, that's the first year, and the current year is 2016, let's go ahead and try to figure out what's the difference in years. Well, the difference in years is 116 years. It's just the math, the difference here. 2016 minus 1900. That's 116 years difference. And then let's multiply 116 times on average 365 days in a year. And so we get this number. That's the number of days since January 1st, 1900. And let's plug this in up here in this value. So 42340, enter, and you see it's pretty close. It's not quite 2016, it's actually in December of 2016, where each day is actually just another value. So if I change this to 340 to 341, it's on the 3rd of December. And then 342, it's on the 4th. Each day is just one. And that's what I want to point out, and that's how Excel is calculating this. So if I go ahead and format this number in a date-like format, this is how it's displayed. Now let's take a look at the time over here on the right. And as you can see, so 0.21, that's our first number. Again, just like I did on the left with the date, you can see that I'm just referencing F6 all the way down. It's locked up on F6. And it's returning 5:03 a.m. and then 5:03 and 50 seconds in the morning, and then 5:03 and then 5:03 and 50 seconds again. So what I want you to notice here is that this is a fraction of a day, right? So each day, back to the left over here with the date, if I just change it to 1 and then I say 2, it's another day. But if I say 0.5 in the middle of the day, that's noon or 12 p.m. And then if I say 0.75, that's 6 p.m. And so the day is 3/4 over with. So how Excel tracks time is just by fractions of 1. So if we go back to the 0.21, and actually it was 1-1, you'll notice that we don't just get hours, we also get minutes, and then we also get seconds based on saying 0.211. So the next thing we should take a look at is this combined date and time. And all I'm doing here is referencing F6 plus C6, so the 0.211 plus 2, and Excel is pulling back this date, which you can see is here, and this time, which is right here. So if we use the shortcut key Control Shift and tilde, this will put it into general formatting, and you can see it's 2.211. So Excel is reading this and formatting, and I'm just going to undo this so I can get back to that nice formatting, Control Z, and it's displaying it as January 1st, 1900, 5:03 and 50 seconds in the morning. We can further look at this by hitting Control 1 to pop into our Format Cells dialog box, and I have a custom format set up for this where I have the month, day, and 4 years, HHH, SS for hours, minutes, seconds, and month, day, year. And it shows us the sample is above right here. And actually that's what's being displayed on the screen right now. So if we wanted, we could switch this up and type in AM/PM. And that way Excel would specify that it's either in the AM or PM. Otherwise, it was actually doing military time. So it would have gone into 1300, 1400, and 1500, and so forth. Let's press OK and just return it as it is. So I think that now that we've defined how Excel is reading these whole numbers as dates and also evaluating these fractions as times, it's making more sense now to understand how is Excel evaluating this formatted number. And it takes our thinking away from hopefully those misconceptions of Excel is reading it as 01/02/1900. It's actually reading it as 2. And this is how it's displaying it. And it's reading this as 0.211 and displaying it as 5:03 and 50 seconds in the morning.